right, here we go. All right, so if this projector would work, there we go. All right, looks like it's working. Okay, so let's see. Let's get onto this. So we're having a test on Monday, all right? So the day you get back from long weekend. So basically, if you study the quizzes, you should be fine. But then I'm looking at the quizzes, and I say the first quiz went from 1-1 to 1-3. But I skipped 1-4 for the quiz. I don't know why I did that.
And 1-5.
No, we actually skipped 1-5, I believe. All right, this projector is being very picky. Come on, let's work. It says it's searching. Now it says no signal. You what? You've never watched it? Well, maybe you should start. Maybe your quiz tells you that you should start watching it. Okay, now I'm ready. Now it's working. Didn't look any different on YouTube probably, but on the screen it wasn't showing up. All right, here we go. So we skipped 1-5, so 1-5 is not going to be on there. But for some reason, I didn't put 1-4 on a quiz, and I don't even know what's on 1-4. What is it? Just regular basic solving equations thing. So if you want to look at 1-4 while we're going over this stuff and ask me a couple questions on 1-4, that would be fine because I haven't made the test up yet, so I'm going to make it up this weekend. And probably tomorrow, if I have a break between parent conferences, I'll probably make it up tomorrow. So it's basically going to be what's on the quizzes, all right? It's not going to be the exact numbers, but it'll be very similar, all right? I'll probably the quizzes were right from the homework. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Do you recognize them?
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, some of them. I think all of them I took from the homework. And then, but the test is going to be basically just study the quizzes. We only had 2. So if you study those 2 quizzes, you should be fine on the test. The test is 100 points. The test is 20 questions. It's always 20 questions. Every single test I give you is always 20 questions, and it's worth 100 points. Okay? The quiz, how many questions on a quiz? 10 questions. I'll just put that. 10 questions, and what is that worth? 20 points. All right? Now, don't get too hung up on the percentages. All right? When you look at the percentages on a quiz, that doesn't translate to the same as a test. Right? It's how many points that you accumulate during the marking period. Okay? So a test is worth 100 points. A test is worth how many quizzes? 5 quizzes, right? So one test actually, so far we've only had 2 quizzes, and let's see how many homeworks we had. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, that works good. So we've had, so listen, listen. Yeah, we've had 10 homeworks. So a homework, we've had 10 of them. We've had 2 quizzes, and after Monday we'll have 1 test. So how many points is that altogether? Well, that's 100, and that's 40. That's 40, and this is 50, right? Because each homework is what? 5 points. So 190, right? So up to this point, 190 points. So the way you figure out your grade is to add up all your homework grades, your quizzes, and your tests, and then you put it here, and then you do the division, all right? Don't get super concerned about doing poorly on a quiz. Now, if you do poorly on a test, that could really hurt you, all right, because it's 100 points compared to this, all right? So what is it so far? We got 40 so far, right, and 50, so 90. So the test will count a little bit more than everything we've done up to this point, all right? So it's basically half and half at this point, all right? Again, depending on where you are in the marking period, the percentage that your test counts and your quizzes count and your homeworks count vary, right? Like at the very beginning of the marking period, if you get a 2 out of 5, what percentage is that? 2 out of 5? 40. It's a 40%. Does that mean you're always going to have a 40% and it's going to be really, really hard to bring up a 40%? No, just one homework grade will bring that up pretty easy, all right? So Don't get hung up on percentages, but you should try to get as many points as possible, all right? So anyway, that's that. Let me just talk briefly about how I give the test. For those who've had me last year, you know exactly. We do it the same exact way. So I don't have, well, actually, let me see if I have one. Yeah, geometry, just finished taking a test, so I'll show you the honors geometry. So I will show you what a test looks like. Let me get somebody that did well so I don't embarrass anybody. All right. This boy right here did pretty well. His name is Ian. So what I do is I'll give you a test. Looks like this, right? It's got 20 problems on it. But you're not going to write on this front test right here. I will give you an answer sheet. All right. It'll be blank. All right. I mean, it'll have all the lines and stuff on there, but obviously it's not going to have the answers on there. All right. So what you do is you go through the test and you put the problems, whatever problem it is, you put it in the correct block. All right. And then I grade it that evening. Okay. I almost always grade it that evening. And I'll put a check mark if you got it right. Excuse me. And then I'll put a X. You didn't get any. Oh, you got one wrong on that front page. See the X right there? So I'll put an X. I won't tell you what you did wrong. Like on the quiz, when you got the quizzes back and it was wrong, I told you what the answer was. I don't do that on the test the first time because we actually take the test in 2 days. All right. So you'll take the test. You'll get all the points off. If there's 20 questions, and it's worth 100 points, how much is each question worth? 5. So each question is worth 1 homework, basically, right? So I mark it off, right? He got 2 wrong. He got 1 wrong on the front, and he got 1 wrong on the back. And so what I do, okay, when you get the test the next day, after taking it the first day, you'll come back the second day, it'll be graded. His says -2 times 5 equals -10, right? And which is a 90. Take it away from 100 because it's 100 points. So he got a 90. Now today, he did corrections on those 2. If he got both corrections right, I gave him 3 points for each one he gets right, okay? So if you get it right on the corrections, you get 3 out of the possible 5 correct. Okay, that's 60%. That's pretty good, right? It's more than half, right? And so let's say he got both of them right. He went from a 90 to a what? 96, right? Because 3 points each. He got 2 of them. That's 6 points. So he went from a 90 to a 96, and that's your grade. I don't record the 90, all right? That's like we're kind of halfway done the test. All right, so that's all there is to it. I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. I don't know. That's kind of a pain. I doubt I'll do that. All right, anyway, so that's how we take a test. Everybody got that? So I'm not gonna sit and explain it. I'm not gonna sit and explain it on Monday. As soon as you come in on Monday, I'm handing you an answer sheet right off the bat. Then I'll hand you a test, and then you just take the test. All right? I'll grade it that night. You come back on Tuesday. You see which ones you got wrong. I don't tell you what you did wrong. I don't mark it and say, oh, you missed a negative or you missed this or whatever. You just have to figure it out. Okay, that's what I like about how I give my tests because you're the one that gets the credit, the extra credit. It's not extra credit, partial credit, I'll say. All right, you earn your partial credit. I don't just give it to you, right? You either get it right the first time or get it right the second time, or you get all 5 points off. Everybody got it? It's your only options, to get a 5 or to get a 3 on each problem. That's your only option. Okay? All right. I think it's pretty fair. I like the way I grade it. I didn't come up with that idea. I went to a workshop long ago, like my second year teaching, I think. I drove to, where did I drive to? Not Annapolis. What's that city right next to Washington, D.C.? Arlington. I knew it was an A. I drove to Arlington, Virginia, right? School let me take a day off to go to this workshop. And I sat there all day listening to them talk about all this stuff, how to teach math and how to grade and da-da-da-da-da and all that. And that's what I came up with. And it's been really good. I think it has been. All right. So let's go. I don't know if you have it available or not, but the first worksheet, 1.1 and 1.3. Anybody have it? Not worksheet. I'm sorry, quiz. I'll tell you what, I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. Quizzes and tests, algebra. I think this one. All right, I think this one has it on here. Let's see. Maybe it doesn't. Why is there nothing on this? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's because it's black. So let's put a white thing on there. And let's make that white.
Oh, we're gonna need to know the properties again?
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yeah, they were. I didn't study them.
All right, now I gotta put it to the front. How do I put it to the front? Right click, arrange, bring to the front, arrange. All right, there we go. Sorry, I should have had this ready, but that's okay. There it is. There's the quiz. You recognize that?
Yep.
Sadly? Happily? What are you talking about? The quiz. All right. This is the first quiz. All right, let's go through some of these. What'd you say, Simone?
I didn't even do bad on this one.
It's always the what? The longest what? Oh, like it seems like it's the longest?
I didn't do bad on that.
Oh, yeah. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. It made me feel good. Ah, you kids. All right. Let's. Yeah, no, it's not. It's me. All right. Yeah, I'm sure. All right. What about this? What about this? Yeah, because you just switch back and forth. Remember we talked about commutative. How do you remember that? If you drive back and forth from your job to your home, back and forth, that's what it's doing. This is from home to your work. This is from work to back to home again. All right, that's commutative property. Look, everything is in the same order. 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 2. The only thing we did was just the grouping of it. It's not called grouping, but we do what? Associative. Okay, it associates. All right, we do these first, then you do these. It doesn't matter. That's the associative property. Technically, yeah, you should put of addition, of multiplication. Don't just put multiplication. I think somebody did on this quiz, if I remember right. They just put multiplication. You got to tell me what property. The property is commutative, associative, and all that kind of stuff. All right, that may not be on there. Now on the test, now there are 10 questions on each quiz. That's 20 questions, but I may not put these on there and put like an extra one of these or an extra one of these or something like that. Okay, so don't tell me, when you get the test, Mr. Henry, that property stuff wasn't on there. I have the right, okay, to change it around all I want. All right, so it's basically based on the quizzes, but I do have the right to mix it up a little bit. Everybody good with that? All right. There's 100 of them. Oh, did you? Oh, did you? Yeah. Yeah, that's good because there's four strings, so that means 25 each. All right, here we go. What about this? I don't want to do every single one of these problems because we're going to probably settle on that second quiz a little longer than this one. But is there anything on here that you remember not being able to do?
6.
Yeah. 6 looks a little trickier, doesn't it?
I can't do anything with fractions.
Yeah, but this is just over this. Didn't this come out even? Didn't this come out even? Yeah. Right. Yeah, this. You don't even have to be able to deal with fractions. If you're popping gum, please don't pop gum. All right. I don't mind you chewing it, just don't pop it. Let's do this. Let's do this in our head a little bit. 5 squared is 25 minus 10 is 15. Okay. Let's do inside of here. What's that? 3 minus 1 is 2. 7 minus 2 is 5. Easy. 2 cubed. What's that? 8. 8 minus 8 is? Do I even care what this is? No, because 0 divided by anything is 0. 15 divided by 5 is? It's that easy. Okay, it is. All right, let's do this one. This one maybe, I don't know. It's really not that hard. Let's do this. 12 minus 8. 4 squared, 16. Let's write down the 16. We'll put a minus 2 right here. Let's do inside of this. 3 squared is minus 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. 16 minus 10 is 6. Easy. Okay.
Yeah, do 10, do 10.
All right, I will.
Now, can we do 8, 9, 10?
Do it. Okay, we can do all three. All right, here we go. Look, here's my guess. Here's my guess. Is where you went wrong if you went wrong on this. You probably went minus 4a cubed, but my guess is, and somebody tell me if you did this, you just put the plus 2b and you didn't put minus 2b. Did anybody do that? Nobody?
I don't remember.
I bet you somebody did. All right, so let's do this. This is 5a cubed minus b, what? Minus 4a cubed. Now here's the part. It's minus 2b. That's the common mistake right there. All right, now we add like terms. 5a cubed minus 4a cubed. It's 1a cubed. Minus b minus 2b minus 3b, and that's it. All right, so right there, to me, I think that's the part where most students would mess up. All right, what about this? Well, yeah, just multiply. Okay, let's multiply all the regular numbers. All right, so I got 5 times 3, which is 15 times 2, which is 30. And then let's do the x's. What's this? What's going to happen with this right there? It's just a 1, isn't it? So do I really even need it? No, because it's just 1 times this. Now, how do I multiply x squared times x cubed? What do I do with the exponents? I add the exponents. So there it is. It's as easy as that.
Oh, I'm looking stupid.
All right, let's look over here. All right, this one was a little trickier. Okay, definitely. All right, yeah, this is definitely the hardest one out of all of them. One thing I can do right away to make it a little bit easier. What about that d? What's d to the 0? It's a 1. It's not a d, it's a 1. D to the 0 is 1. It's not 1d, it's the actual number 1. And that 1 is being multiplied by c squared, so it's just c squared. Everybody with me? All right. So I've got c squared. Now, let's do this right here. I have to take an exponent and I have to square it, right? So what do you do when you take an exponent to another power? It's called the power rule. You multiply the exponents. So it's c to the negative third to the second. So it's c to the what? Negative 6, because we multiply the exponents. Okay. We also have that d inside of here. Technically, it's d to the what? First, right? So d to the first squared. And what do? You multiply 1 times 2, and it's just d squared. Okay? Same thing down here. What's that c going to be? C to the what? To the negative second this time. And then the d is d to the negative third to the negative second. What do we do with the exponents? Multiply them. It's negative 3 times negative 2, which is to the positive 6. D to the positive 6. I had people circle that as their answer. Can we circle that as our answer? No. All right, let me extend this down a little bit. Give myself a little bit more room. All righty. What do we do here? Is it simplified? No, it's not. We could do this several different ways. I'm going to show you how I would do it. Is that all right? If I was to do this, I would... Now, let me ask you this. Does this c squared and the c to the negative second cancel each other out? Why not? Why don't they cancel each other out? Because this is a negative exponent. They are not the same thing. C squared and c to the negative second are not the same thing. All right? That negative second makes it a lot different than just squaring it, okay? So here's, I don't know, let's see, how would I do this? Let's do it like this. Let's do this first, okay? So what's that going to be? It's going to be c to the negative fourth, all right? And let's do this. Let's take this. I'm going to move that down because, well, let's do it this way.
Oh, because you're subtracting it from the...
Yeah, but like I said, there's a bunch of ways you could approach this, all right? Let's do it like that, yeah. Let's just do this. This means I got d squared, which is 2 d's on the top. I got 6 d's on the bottom, right? So 2 of these cancels out with what? 2 of those, how many do I have left? I think that's the best way to look at it. Don't do that with negatives, though, okay? Because that gets too confusing. Everybody with me on that? And then let's see what I got. That's all I got on top. Well, not yet. I'm going to move this. What I'm going to do No, I already did it. So I took care of that, right? Move this to the bottom. I got a d to the fourth. What else do I have on the bottom? C to the negative second. Now here's what I would do. Everybody watching? I would take the negative 4 and move it to the bottom. If we take a negative exponent and move it to the bottom, what does it become? Positive exponent. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to chuck it to the bottom, and I got a c to the what? To the fourth. What happens on the top, though? Is it a 0 on the top? No, it's a 1. It's a 1 because everything's being multiplied by 1. All right, we're almost done. 1 over, and what do we got here? Let's do these two right here. That's, again, you just add the exponents. So it would be c to the what? To the second. It's 4 plus negative 2, or just 4 minus 2. All right? Everybody see that? And then what else do we have on the bottom? D to the fourth. Don't say D4. D to the fourth power. And that's how you want to write your answer. All right? Again, there's a lot of different ways that I could go through this and explain it, right? But I think what we did right there is probably the easiest way, I think. Everybody good with that? Yes. 7. Okay. All right, here we go. It says evaluate when A is 5 and B is negative 2. So I'm just going to rewrite this, but instead of A, what do I put? 5 minus negative 2. Everybody see that? That's a place where you could mess up. And then to the second. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. That minus negative 2, I have a feeling that somebody probably put 5 minus 2. All right? But you can't because it's a negative 2. You're subtracting a negative 2. All right, let's do the rest of it. A to the second. A is what? 5, and it's to the second, plus B, which is negative 2. So you could just write what? You could just write minus 2. I'll just keep it like that, though. All right, we good with that? No? Look, minus a negative. All right, it's positive. Let's do a little bit in our head. We'll do this. Just do a little bit. I'm not going to do too much in our head, but we'll do a little bit. 5 plus 2 is? 7 squared is? 49. Okay, minus. Right? 5 plus 2. 5 plus 2 is what? Yeah, you do the parentheses first, then you square. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 squared, 7 times 7 is 49. Okay? All right, what about this? 5 squared is? No, it's not 10. It's 25. You multiply it by itself. Come on. 5 squared is 25. Minus 2 is? 23. So it's minus 23. And now you just do this. 147. Can you do this in your head? Without going like 9 times 3, carry, all that kind of stuff. 3 times 50. What's 3 times 50 in your head? 150. But it's not a 50, it's a 49. But we had 3 of them, so I take away 3. It's 47. Does that make any sense to you? All right. Every once in a while, you can do things like that in your head. All right. And then 147 minus what? 23. And whatever that is, 124, right? Yep. 124. There it is, right there. We good? All right. Let me bring up that other quiz. Tell you what I'll do is.
Can you do number 6 on the other quiz?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll spend most of our time. We'll spend the rest of our time on the other quiz. Is there anything from section 1.4? For some reason, I didn't put it on the quiz, but it's just basic, solve for x kind of stuff. Okay.
Is 1.4 going to be on the test?
Yeah, I will, because I just didn't put it on the quiz. That was kind of dumb on my part. All right.
Wait, this was 1.4. Right? Was that 1.4?
What?
Doesn't say 1.4.
No.
Can you just plug in the negative 22 and then negative 32 over 5?
Okay.
Because I don't understand how 1.
All right.
I did something.
All right, here we go. Shh. What about these? Any of these?
Those are just number 6.
Just 6? Okay. All right. Let me get this out. right, this got absolute value, right? So this is one where you do the plus and the minus, right? But before we do that stuff, before you write down the 2, what do you got to do?
So if the absolute value bars are equal to negative 27, then it's still.
No. You don't do that first, though.
Well, like hypothetically. Are we on 6?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically.
Oops, why didn't that?
If it was a different equation and you plug it in and it equals negative 27, if it's in the absolute value bars.
No, it has to equal 27. It's got to equal the original problem. Okay? So what we do first, let me change colors. Let's get to red. Pink.
Yeah, pink.
All right. So we're going to take that and move it over here. So I've got 2x plus 5 equals, let's put it first. Is that all right? Did I put it first? I did. Right. It's an equal sign. That's why I put equals. So anyway, 3x plus 27. What's that? All I'm doing is just adding a 3x to both sides. That's all I'm doing. This 3x was not in the absolute value. Oh, you're telling him. Oh, okay. All right. So now, this is what we're going to split up in the 2 equations, right? One will keep the same. The other one will change the sign of the right side. All right, so we're going to do this now without absolute value. So it's going to be 2x plus 5 equals 3x plus 27. All right, we write it just like it is here, except we don't put the absolute value. Now the other one, the left side stays the same, but what do we do to the right side? We make it minus, but we got to make that whole entire thing minus. Not just the 3x, not just the 27. So we get negative 3x, what? Minus 27. Okay? And then you do the work. I think on this one you get, what? Negative 22. And on this one, yeah, it's kind of ugly. The fraction? Okay. All right, so let's do that. Tell you what, I'll do this in a different color to just make it purple. Do I have purple? There's purple right there. I don't usually use purple. Okay, so here we go. Negative 32 over 5. It's kind of ugly, isn't it? So it's 2 over 1, right, times x, which is what? Negative 32 over 5. Everybody with me? I'm just plugging it in for that right there. Plus 5. And that's in absolute value. Minus 3. I'm going to put it over 1. Is that all right? 3 over 1 times negative 32 over 5. And that should equal what? 27. If that's a valid answer, this should equal 27. Let's see if it does. Tell you what, let me just scooch it up, give myself a little more room. All right, there we go. All right, let's do this. What's this going to be? Negative, will anything cancel? No, so it's negative 64 over 5, right? Plus, let's write this over 5, though, because I want to add those up. So that's going to be 25 over 5. What's that? Negative 39? Yes? Is that right? Okay. So this is going to be negative 39 over 5. Absolute value, well, we got to put the plus 5. No, we already did the plus 5. Absolute value, what's the absolute value of this? It's just 39 fifths. Okay, let's do this. I got minus and negative. What happens there? Positive. Right? Because I didn't do the check on my answer key. I just, I looked at the answer key in the book and I knew which one to pick. All right, so I haven't done this myself. So this is what, 64 again?
No, 90.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, what am I doing? Not times 2. Is that thing shaking? All right, 96. Yeah, 96 over 5. Yeah? All right, I think that works, right? And what is that? 115 over 5. Is it? 25. 125? It's 15 and 12 and 3. It's 135. 135 over 5. And that is 27. I do recognize that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What type of math would you use in like real life? Not unless like you're a math major. Real
It doesn't
math.
matter. It doesn't matter. I've been teaching so long, I'm tired of answering that question. Just there's a lot of things we're going to do in here that you're not going to do in life. Okay? A lot of things you're going to learn as growing up, as an adult. A lot of things you're going to learn you may not use in real life.
No, I'm not
It'd be nice if my projector would work once in a while. So this is not the time to talk about that. I've got a whole speech for that, but now's not the time. All right, let's just keep going. Does everybody see that? Now, the other answer was negative 22. All right, you could put that in there, and it's not going to work. All right, you could do it. Does it come out to negative 27? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so negative 27 does not equal 27. I'm just not going to take the time to do that. You can do that, and you should do that. But I don't believe, tell me if I did this, if you wrote both answers and circled them, I don't believe I marked it wrong. Did I? This is 6. I don't think I marked. I might have said something. I might have done like this and circle this, but I think I still gave you credit. Right. Yeah, so that was nice of me, wasn't it? Right? Even though, you got both of those answers, even though only one of them is really right, I still gave it to you. But I may not be that nice on the test, though. Okay? So make sure that you do plug it back in. Yes. Yeah.
It's either x is greater than 2 or x is greater than 5.
Yeah.
Did you cross out?
I'll show you why. It's a good question. X is greater than 2 or x is greater than 5. So if you graph it, it'll kind of make more sense to you.
Because if it's greater than 2, then it's already greater than 2.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, it's greater than 5 is already greater than 2.
Right.
Peaceful about it.
All right, look. Here's 2. Here's 5. All right. So watch. You would take this, shade it in, right? It would go all that way. You take this and shade it in. Notice what the word says. Okay, so what's our answer? Our answer can be anything that is greater than 2 or greater than 5. But if you pick a number that's greater than 5, it's already what? Greater than 2. So is it really necessary to say x is greater than 5? It wouldn't be wrong to say it. You just don't need it in there. All right? X is greater than 2 covers everything bigger than 2. So that means it covers everything bigger than 5. So you don't really need it. Again, it's not wrong if you put them both, but you only need that. That's why I probably circled that. Okay? Anything else? What about the last 2? It seemed like the last 2 were an issue. For some people, it seemed like it was. Yeah. Yeah, yours was really simple. And we had a lot of 19 out of 20s on this, so that was good. All right. Yes. Our Spanish friend over here. Margarita got them all right. Yep. So, but she studied hard. I mean, you should see her work. You should see her homework. Her homework is immaculate. I mean, every little step. She comes to me after class asking me just these little detail questions and stuff like that. So she worked at it. So don't say, oh, she's from Spain. She must be really smart. Okay? She studies. All right? I'm sure she is very smart. But she studies very hard. I can tell. Right? Because of her homework. I mean, I look at her homework. I'm going, wow, this is really good. So she deserves it because she studied really hard. And a lot of you guys deserve it too. But you made a little silly mistake. And it's not that big of a deal. 1 point. 1 point out of, what do we have so far? 290 points. It's pretty insignificant, wouldn't you think? Yeah.
How many points
All right. Usually it hovers around 300 or so. It just depends. It depends on how fast we go. First marking period is usually a little less points because we start from the very beginning and we don't have a test for a while. So like second marking period, we might start a marking period with a test, which we are. No. Next week's not a marking period. But anyway, you know what I mean? So we could squeeze in maybe 3 tests in a marking period. We usually have 2 tests, I think. 2 or 3 tests a marking period. Okay. Any of these you want to do?
No.
You sure? When do we get out of here? 05.
You gave us 4 tests in a row during that time
Did I get 4? Wow.
last year.
Wow, we must have been rolling then. All right. This last chance to ask me some questions on this stuff.
1-4.
What? Well, give me a question.
Well, I don't have any, but like.
It's just basic solving for x. I mean, it's like this, except it's just 3x plus 4 equals 7, right? And some of them are a little longer. Some of them might be like this, but it's equal instead of greater than.
Mr. Hammer,
Okay.
have you ever been in a fight?
Been in a fight? No. No.
Did you ask
Whole
your
life?
college teachers that?
I'm too smart. I mean, I've been close a couple times, but
What happened? Like you've never fought.
well, I'm gonna stop. I'll stop recording. I'll tell you a story. Are you guys gonna listen actually this time? All right. It's not that exciting, but.